And we want to welcome to the set here J.D. Hayworth, host of Newsmax Prime. J.D., good to have you with us.
John, Miranda, I'm honored.
Oh, always our pleasure.
All right, a couple of things we want to talk about, maybe three things if we have time, J.D. First, we want to start with that new Pew poll about Christianity in this country. It appears to show declining rates of folks who identify themselves as Christian. And on the inverse, more folks in this country identifying themselves as non-Christians or non-religious. Do you think this will have an immediate impact on the campaign trail?
I'm not sure it'll have immediate impact other than to, I think, for a lot of traditional Americans, people of faith, to go, my goodness, is this really transpiring? And the direct numbers, Christianity responders dropped by 8 percentage points to just 71% of the population. So I think it will have an effect, but long term, when you take a look at the number of Muslim refugees or immigrants that are being brought into the country under a heightened program by this administration, that is also adding to the aggregate, not just agnostics, but people with a different faith and value system.
And we know the appeals that have been made by Mike Huckabee, Ben Carson, the list goes on and on. Interesting when you look at it with this number, because polls, hard to tell, but sometimes they do have an impact on the conversation. Another thing we want to talk to you about, too, was Bill de Blasio and his attempts to step out on the national stage. And I know Politico covered this today, but I was reading an article in The Atlantic, and they may have summed it up, perhaps the question best, by asking, quote, why is the mayor of New York, after less than a year and a half on the job, jetting around the country to promote an agenda that has already been taken up by more experienced, in parentheses, Bernie Sanders, and more popular, in parentheses, Elizabeth Warren, national leaders to the left? What is he doing here?
Well, the mayor of New York, and we've seen this with Michael Bloomberg and others, once you're mayor of New York now, you think you can run for president. And Bill de Blasio is a man in a hurry. He's got an ambition to match his 6'6" height, and so he is moving forward with it. The other interesting thing is he's working with Elizabeth Warren on this, and it stands in stark contrast to the real contract with America that was drafted by House Republicans 20 years ago that I was pleased to sign on to as then a challenger for the House that gave Republicans their first majority in 40 years in the U.S. House. What Mayor de Blasio and Senator Warren, I believe, are embracing might more accurately be called a 15-point manifesto for the left, as opposed to a contract with America.
Well, before we talk about what's coming up on Newsmax Prime, we want to talk about one more topic. Jeb Bush, in a sit-down with Fox's Megyn Kelly, was taking on one of your probably most passionate topics, immigration. Take a listen.
I've been traveling over the last 3 months, and I get a sense that a lot of people can be persuaded, to be honest with you. But here's the deal, Megyn. If I go beyond the consideration of running to be an actual candidate, do you want people to just bend with the wind, to mirror people's sentiment, whoever's in front of you? Oh, yes, I used to be for that, but now I'm for this. Is that the way we want to elect presidents? Running for president is tough. Serving as president, which should be the objective, is a little harder.
Yeah,
your thoughts, your reaction to it.
Well, again, he has the Bush brand name. He has any number of apologists in the establishment media. He is personally a very charming guy, and he has decided that he and Hillary Clinton both, they are going to stuff amnesty down the throat of the American people, and he's trying to turn a weakness into a strength.
Is it amnesty? Is that what he's really saying?
Yes, anything. Here, let's clear this up once and for all.
Okay.
Any mitigation, any relaxation of existing law for people who come here illegally is a form of amnesty. They're going to try to tell you it's not. They're going to try to tell you it's compassionate. But the bottom line is, and this is one of the subjects we'll take up tonight, they're trying to use the Defense Appropriations Bill, some of the open borders folks in Congress, as a backdoor to amnesty. We are seeing that Trade Promotion Authority bill, as Dick Morris warned us a couple of weeks ago, as a backdoor to amnesty. Mr. Bush is hoping people will say, well, at least he's trying to bring people in so we know they're coming, but I don't see any reason to merit that as somehow noble, saying, I'm going to be your president and I'm going to support amnesty and you're going to like me because I've consistently told you that the United States of America is going to become Los Estados Unidos.
Well, he mentioned that self-deportation aspect that Romney used in 2012. And of course, we all know what happened. Romney won the nomination in 2012.
We're running out of time.
And that's why tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern and again 8 o'clock Pacific, Newsmax Prime, be there. Aloha.
We will be there, Jay.
Thanks, JD.